G'day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today we are joined by our good friend Trev Harwood, who you may remember from 8 months or so ago around Anzac Day. We had Trev on and Tia interviewed him regarding the documentary that we were fundraising for. Trev, welcome.
G'day, mate. How you going, buddy?
Pretty good, mate. Yeah. How about
Pretty
yourself?
good. Oh, look, living the dream, enjoying it in these fun times that we're in at the moment. So, look, yeah, it's been nice and busy for us lately up here in Queensland.
Yeah, you've had a little bit of fun and games. How far away are you from the Brisbane lockdown at the moment?
Brisbane lockdown's probably about half an hour, 45 minutes up the road, so it's not really affecting us. It was quite funny. I went out to a friend's 50th birthday party last night in Surfers, and just seeing everyone round about walking the streets and all that, and I'm thinking our friends, our neighbours just up the road are all in lockdown until Monday at 6 p.m, so how different it is, just that little bit of distance away, but it just proves that, you've got to do the right things, or else we could all go into a massive big lockdown like what's happening over in England and that at the moment, where they lock down the entire country. So, we don't want that. So everyone's got to do their part, I guess.
That's exactly right, mate. And as a regional Victorian, I wasn't fully affected by the Melbourne lockdown, but my heart goes out to those who are in lockdown at the moment, especially given there's such a beautiful time of year and everything as well. But we are not here to talk about COVID. We're here to talk about your amazing work and the fact that we did hit the target several months ago for the documentary, and you're working on that feverishly at the moment. But on Friday, you released your first short film in the series of films that you're making, called Lamentations, or Lamentations, depending on which side of the river you're from. Great work, mate. I loved it. It gave me chills, and we do have a little excerpt to play a little bit later on. But I'd love for you to tell the viewers just a little bit about your vision and how this all came about, because it's been a labour of love for quite some time.
Definitely a labour of love for some time ago. Actually, 15 years ago, I came up with this concept to make this documentary. And look, I wasn't in the right headspace, and I didn't have the right people around me at the time for support to do that. So I buried it deep down in my stomach, and it's still in the back of my mind. And then it wasn't until the end of 2019, I was talking to a fellow filmmaker friend of mine and told him about the concept, and he goes, "Man, you've got to do that. It's just powerful. You have to do it." And it was just, those moments where everything just clicked. The right people just came to me at the right point in time. And I didn't tell my wife about it. I just started up a Facebook group and ended up getting a couple of hundred members involved, and the ball was rolling before she started getting all these messages saying, "Who's this person messaging you all the time?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, by the way, love, I started up a group and I'm doing a documentary." So a bit sneaky.
I promise.
So I knew that my wife's the type of person that loves to see action getting done. So I thought if I get the ball rolling, and also it was, I think too, Jay, it was about myself, just wanting to see if there was any traction out there, because look, the whole idea came about of seeing my father, face all the demons and the tribulations of actually serving in the Vietnam War, and growing up watching him deal with all these things. Now, my dad was a fantastic father. He supported us so much, and I got very little qualms about my upbringing, but there are certain aspects of his upbringing that I thought, man, that's affected me growing up. And I just wanted to start a group and I've got a private group on Facebook, which you're a part of, which is fantastic. And just threw that question out there, and the response has been just outstanding. And that just made us go into making this first little short film. Yeah.
And look, it's a beautiful community you've got running in the private group, the Children of Vietnam Veterans. And it's a longer title than that, but we can, if anyone does want to join that group, you can send myself or Trev a private message, and we can facilitate your entry into the group. You do need to be the child of a Vietnam veteran. And that's Trev, right. When I first joined that group, I've got to say I was astounded at just how at home I felt and how understood I felt. I'd never really connected with a community of people who had experienced some of the same sort of things that I'd experienced growing up. And again, I'm not here to, criticize my father or to cast aspersions on service or Vietnam or anything like that, but there were certain unique experiences that the COVVs had that I thought
100%.
uniquely my own. I had no idea that thousands of others, not just here in Australia.
Yeah, well, not just here in Australia. We've got members right around the world, over in America, England, even in Vietnam. We've got members everywhere. And you could easily just take out the name of the person who wrote it, add your name into it as a CAVV and go, you know what, there's so many elements of your story of an upbringing, which is exactly the same as mine. And that really gave me the confidence to go, there is actually something really in this. Like, I started out posing the question, is there an effect of the Vietnam War on us, the children of Vietnam veterans? And after, now I've got, over 800 odd members in this private group, and I'm like, there is an effect, and they just want to be heard. And that's actually what brought me into making this first little short film.
Yeah, and we've got a little excerpt, and we'll play that as soon as you're ready, Trev. But I just wanted to touch on, I guess, some of the things that you're hoping to address through the work that you're doing, things like intergenerational trauma, the PTSD and the effect of that on future generations, the increased suicide rate amongst veteran children and specifically those from the Vietnam War, and some of those risks to the cohorts. That's some of the messaging you're also trying to sort of normalise, isn't it?
100%. You hit the nail right on the head there. So, look, there's such a deeper problem, and I'm lucky enough to have made really good friends with another member of our group, Dr. Ken O'Brien. He's actually invested over 35 years of his personal career into studying the effects of intergenerational PTSD. And so he'll be a big part of our documentary down the track to interview him in regards to that. But look, there is so many other different elements of that. I mean, so many times that us, the children of Vietnam veterans, we are like ridiculed and saying that we have inserted ourselves into our father's trauma, and that we're just doing it just to gain attention. And so I really wanted to make this first short film, which is, like you said at the start, it's a series of 3 as a lead up to gain awareness into what we're doing for the actual documentary. And I wanted to make this really raw and emotional to show, you know what, we don't insert ourselves into the trauma. We're actually a part of the trauma, seeing our fathers grow up and trying to, I mean, look, the average age, we're 22 years of age, roughly, coming back from Vietnam War with, let's be honest here, with really no help from the government whatsoever. Like, they came back and they were actually ridiculed and despised by not just here in Australia, but right around the world too. So they had to try to do their very best of what they could from being into a different country and in a war battle zone, and then come back and try to fit into society. And so, of course, there's going to be issues there. And so, like, the majority of the people in our group, we don't blame our fathers, we blame the war. And that's what I really wanted and hopefully got across in this first little short film.
Well, shall we play the 1 minute teaser we've got for our members now, Trev?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's play it along.
So here's a little 1 minute teaser from Lamentations by Trev Harwood from Soaring Productions.
Wow. It still gets me. Yeah.
So I've got goosebumps at the moment. I mean, again, not blaming our dads, but I remember as a kid just walking on eggshells, being really hyper vigilant, really overly careful not to make surprise noises, or I'd broadcast my arrival as I walked down the hallway so that there was no shock or surprise when I suddenly appeared beside him or behind him. And it must have been awful for him. Of course, as a child, I didn't understand it. It was really just more about they were walking on eggshells. But that young lady is quite an actress, right?
Yeah, look, young Indiana, she had everybody. Look, I was basically in tears the whole shoot. I don't even know how I focused on the screen. It was just that powerful. But it's true. Like we saw our dads having to deal with situations, and sometimes they had to emotionally detach from their current situation to deal with what's going on. And at moments like that, it was like walking on eggshells. And a lot of the times, children of Vietnam veterans, the COVVs, were like going, what have I done to upset Dad? Why is he like that? And so we started getting this complex going on, what's going on. So I really wanted to show that, like that raw, that emotional power that came out of those situations that affected that poor little girl. And man, those actors, they just did an absolutely brilliant job. I couldn't have asked for any better.
Oh, look, I'm really excited to see the next 2 installments, and then as we go into the full documentary, and you have a bit of a call of action, because I know that part of this is also about raising awareness of the effects of Agent Orange, and having our government here in Australia recognise those effects as it is recognised in other parts of the world. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Maybe not.
Yeah, look,
I'll
briefly touch on that too. So, look, you're right. We've got another 2 little installments lined up. One happening in the next week or so we'll release, and that's more of an informational video that's going on to explain 100% what we're doing, which has a call to action in there. And we also have another reenactment, which is another real life story from one of our members within the group that I sat down and had lunch with, and he shared his heart out exactly what happened. And that's another extremely powerful video clip. But the call of action of what we're doing is because, look, we want to touch on Agent Orange, about the 2nd and 3rd generation effects from our dads or mothers who served over there, being a nurse, so we can't forget them either, who got affected by Agent Orange and how it's passed down through generations. So that's one part of it. But, of course, the other part is the intergenerational PTSD. So in the little promo video that we'll release next week, or hopefully the week after, we are putting out a call to action. Of course, these videos don't just make themselves. Within the community that we have online, we raised over $20,000 already just to make these 3 videos. And we are using those hopefully to reach out to the broader community, corporations, to look at more financial backing to help us out there, but also to bring awareness. And we're also asking for people who are experienced in maybe they're in the medical field about PTSD or Agent Orange, also marketing managers, people of social networking, experts who might want to come on board and help us out there, and also other filmmakers, because look, this is a huge project. We made all this with probably about 5 or 6 real key team members, but we're going to need a bigger team. So I'm looking for other professional filmmakers out there right around the world too. With COVID, we might need to get a team over in America to help us out to film some interviews and everything over there. So look, if you're interested and want more information, you can contact me via an email address, and I'm sure to love to sit down and have a chat with you and see how we can actually work it. Oh, look, there it is, Trev Harwood at soaringproductions.com.au, that you can reach out to me and I'll get back to you, and we can hopefully have a chat and actually get this thing out there. Because look, just to end up, there is a community of children of Vietnam veterans out there that just want to be heard, and they've got a story to tell. And I'll tell you what, some of the stories are absolutely heart-wrenching, and they've brought me to tears many a times reading the stories that people have shared to me. But then there's also others who I want to interview too, where they say, you know what, my dad came home and he was fantastic. I wasn't affected by the Vietnam War. So I'm not just doing the documentary one-sided. I actually want to cover all the bases, and of course, talk to people in America, New Zealand, and also people from over in Vietnam that have been affected. I mean, they've got a story that needs to be told also.
Good on you, mate. Good on you. I think it is an untold story, and kudos to you. I'll help you any way I can. I'm aware of some grants that are available for filmmaking, and perhaps I can connect you with Tom Pappas, who is the founder of the Veteran Film Festival as well. We'll see if we can't
fantastic
expertise. So, mate, thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to cut it a little bit short because we're going to lose the audience if we talk for an hour, and I know we'll tend to.
Which we can easily do. You and I can easily keep going on about this all day long.
That's the one, mate. That's the one. We'll do that over a beer on Zoom silently or privately, I should say. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for watching. In the comments there, the link to the YouTube video is there. It's 9.5 minutes. Make a cup of tea. It'll take you less time to watch it than it will to finish your cuppa. It's very much worth a watch. Thanks for joining.
I really do appreciate it, Jay. Thank you so much, buddy.
Anytime, Trev. Good on you, mate.
You're a legend.